Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Gina, and today we're going to do an unboxing from Josie's place. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video. So, yes, I have yet again another box, and I did go thrifting I just got back probably about 30 minutes ago. I decided to come on and share this with you guys. So we'll give it a few minutes to give people a chance to come in, and then we'll get started. So this is the box size right here. We never ever show anyone's address because it is a violation of their privacy, and we just don't do that. So we always mark that out or not show the top part of the box. So that way their privacy is not compromised. But I did go thrifting as well a few minutes ago. Went to the UPS store, but they were closed. Darn it. So naturally, I took that opportunity to stop into my favorite consignment shop. I only picked up a few things. So one of them retailed for $90, and I thought that was a score right there. So anyway, I only picked up 2 items there, and that's unusual for me because maybe getting there a little bit later in the day probably was part of it. A lot of the good stuff, the parking lot was full. So anyway, here. But I did pick up a couple items. One of them was waiting for people to come in. One of them was this case right here, which after I show you the price tag on this, you're going to be floored just like I was. So I walked in there and I found this. So I thought, let me investigate further. So I opened it up, and it did have all the information. It had the little glass cleaner in there. And this receipt was with it. It says Sunglass Hunt, which is not too far from the location I picked this up at. And this case was $90. So I thought, even though your sunglasses may not be that brand, it's still a nice illusion, right? But this is a $90 case, and I thought, I said, I'm just going to pick that up. Very nice and wonderful shape, brand new. It's that hard case, very nice. And there was that. And then I picked this up for someone that loves owls. It's a little keychain here with the owl on it. All the rhinestones are there. Hey, nephew Troy, welcome in. We're doing an unboxing again. Imagine that. But isn't this, look at that sunglass case. And inside of that, hey, Pammy, is a receipt for $90. So did I pick it up? You're darn right I did. You don't have to have that type of sunglasses. You can have the illusion of that. But yeah, it's got all the information in there. It has the little cleaner right there, and it was $90. So I thought, why not? When you see the word Armani, it kind of, something taps you on the shoulder. So there's that. And of course, I got the little owl for someone else. Oh, love you too, nephew Troy. But since I got some boxes here not too long before I left, I wanted to share this with you guys. You know how I am about jewelry lots. I am so guilty. You know it? So I'm going to go ahead and start to open this. As I said, this is the size of it. And this is from Josie. As I said, we never show anybody's information. We don't want their privacy violated. I wouldn't want my address put out there. Somebody might come over here and go postal. No, I'm kidding. Besides, I have two killer chihuahuas, or they think they are. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and open this. It's good to see you guys. So, anywho, this, Josie had this. She did a video on this. And she did say that there was, Josie's got nice stuff now. When you get something from Josie, you know it's good. Oh gosh, I bought 2 jewelry bags Friday. And I'll have to do another video because there was sterling silver in there. There was a little ring that was 14 karat gold. And what else? I think there was like a 10 karat gold, white gold necklace in there. The alarm and the dogs don't get him. The Smith & Wesson will. You got that right. I've never shot a gun, so I'd probably shoot something I wasn't supposed to. Hey, Laura, welcome in, sweetheart. I am so glad, Laura, that you're okay. You don't know how scared I was when that tornado was in your area. It really scared me, and I was praying. I said, oh, God, don't let anything happen to my Laura. And it was very scary, but Laura's fine, and I hope she continues to be so. But my heart was beating really fast because I thought, oh, no, I don't want anything happening to her, And 12 blocks from their home, and she showed on her phone where some homes were totally leveled, and that, I think that's, my heart was going like that because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want anything to happen to her. So we get the fun of going through a jewelry jar, but like I said, I did buy 2 other bags. One of them, I bet you weighed 3 or 4 pounds, and there was some wonderful stuff in it. You wouldn't believe, and I picked out the best stuff. But when you only pay like $6.77 for a big whopping bag of jewelry, there was a Waltham watch in there, which was old, and there was another brooch in there. And I was going through it like gangbusters, and there was a necklace in there that was multi-layered that had carnelian on it. Can't beat that for $6.77 now, can we? I just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and sometimes it's all about timing and stuff. So here we go. This is going to be fun, I guarantee you. So we will put that over there. Is everyone doing well today? I hope your Saturday has been a good one so far. I've been out ripping and running. I had a late start, but alrighty then. We're just going to dig right into this. First off the bat, we have stone, and I'm going to turn my Presidium on because I know that's a stone. Hey, Marzita, welcome in, sweetie. I know that's a stone. So let's turn that Presidium on, and I'll tell you what it is. And I hope everyone's day went really well, and this is the size of the jar. So this one looks like stone as well. I'll have to test this. See that? See those little things in there? And it's really cold. It has a lobster claw chain right there. And it's got a little dangly thing right there. Yeah, you see those veins in that? That's stone. I get excited. So while the Presidium is heating up, we will continue. Oh my goodness. We have more stone with normally these right here. Someone probably made that because it's in such good shape. But that's stone as well. And we will go through these and I'll tell you what they are. That stone as well. Of course, I do have a tiny little neck, but that needs an extender because even with my neck being so small. So let's test this stone right here and the stones surrounding on there. That looks like carnelian, but I'm not gonna say for sure. Let's give it a test. Come on now. Don't be playing me. It looks like it's glass, but it does look like a stone as well that mimics a stone. Let me check these red ones and see what we have. Let's see here. But still, it's very pretty and it does mimic a stone. I'm going to also check this for turquoise. You never know what's what until you check it. You don't want to, that's the fun of it, the exploration of what it could be. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome in. Hello. I caught alive as I tried to take a quick nap. Well, I know I have a habit of napping myself, Cheryl. Welcome in, sweetheart. All right. These do appear to be glass, but you know what? Glass is nice too. And there's your green stone. I'm going to put an extender on that because that's, my neck is not big at all. And that would give a whole new meaning to the word choker, if you know what I mean. So we're going to do, that's probably stone as well, but it does mimic, emphasis on the word mimic. So that's glass as well. Still very nice. Still got the tassel on the end. So we're going to continue on with this. Yeah, I take a nap, and my husband said, "Oh, you're taking your nap, huh?" I said, "And I'm tired." I get it, you get that burst of energy, and these are glass as well. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those stones. I definitely wear that. A lot of times when you get these stretch bracelets, it's sometimes a good idea to string these because with time anything's going to wear out. But you know what? Look at the string on that. Anything's going to wear out. That is really beautiful. That is glass. That's black. And it will go with about anything. There's your stones right there. Thank you guys for coming in. Next up, we have this little filigree bracelet right here that does have a hinge where you can open it up a little bit wider if you need to. And there's that one. Very pretty and wonderful shape. Josie stuff is always up and out early. Yep. I should have been up early myself, but I've got these two jewelry bags and I had to go through them. It took me quite a while because one of them was probably 4 pounds. And curiosity got the best of me, so I went ahead and this one has, let me see if these are real pearls. They do have the grit to them. Those are little seed pearls right there. And we do have a mark on that, and it is Cookie Lee. You have your lobster claw right there. Cookie Lee, I've got a brooch that's by Cookie Lee. And then over here you have the little dangles right there. Very pretty. That AB coated little stones in the middle of it are and then there's a bicone right in the middle there. Very pretty. Yeah, I need to go to some yard sales this summer. I've been slacking off. You really have some good yard sales out. This one is a really nice chain right here. It's not gold or anything. It's gold tone. And then you have this owl right there. You feel like somebody's watching you yet? And they're just little glass eyes, but it's cute. I know a lot of people that collect owls. There's that one. And next up, we have this cha-cha necklace. That's kind of cute. And it is marked. It is marked White House Black Market, which is a very nice brand of jewelry. I'll move it in so you can see it. It's got the little, you can hear the little cha-cha on that. And usually your Black House White Market, they do quality stuff. You have a nice chain right there with that extender, and you have a lobster claw. The thing is like new. There's your little tag right there. White House Black Market, that's their mark. And there's that one. So, and I go to bed so late, that's probably why I don't get up early. So, next up, we have, thank you, me saying burning the midnight oil is like 2:30 in the morning, and I shouldn't be up that late, but whoops. I don't know. These are, I believe these are shoe clips. And I have two of them because here's your thing that would go over your shoe right there. And those are shoe clips. Like, let me see. Did I drop something? And next up, let me see. These are knotted in between. They're not real, but they are pretty. See if we have a name on this. It does have a beautiful clasp. There's your clasp right there. These are faux pearls, but they are in very good shape. If you can, they are knotted in between, so that's a mark of something that's made possibly better than otherwise because someone has taken the time to knot that. So you know what they say, and fake it till you make it. They're still pretty, you know. Could layer with something. Next up, we have another pearl one with a very, this one is marked Napier. You have your little Napier, which is all knotted in the middle. There's your little hang tag. It has a beautiful clasp on it. You got your little dangly thing right there that says Napier on it. It's hard to show that. It says Napier on it right there. Another nice one. Napier is known for doing really nice pieces of jewelry, more quality. Then we have a little blinged out stretch ring. There's your little AB crystals right there. There's the back of that. You know, one of those slip on. Now, if you ever want to know, if you take a stretch ring and you put it on like this and push it up and then turn it, then your stretchy will last much longer. There again, turn it to the side and pull your finger out. That way your stretchy lasts longer than normal because we know with time everything does give out. There's that. Okay, next up we have this. It appears to be a bracelet. Let's see what's on the back of that. How do you get it open? It's a stretchy bracelet, but it is 3 layers, and boy, the stretch on that's something else. There's that one. Yeah, that's got an awesome stretch on it, so you won't have to worry about anything breaking. So there are 3 layers to this one, and there's that. Next up, we have, these are glass beads. This is a choker. Someone probably made this. There's that, and it's glass. I have a thing that knots, you know, puts the knots between whatever you're working on. It's coming in pretty soon. So that means I really need to get serious, right, on doing what what I like to do. This is another pretty ring right there. It is adjustable, very pretty. Got that sparkle factor going on in it. put the rings separately. And next up we have this. It's a facet, kind of a, I guess you'd call a laser cut. It's not silver, but it is pretty. It's got that twisty kind of thing to it with your lobster claw. Where'd it go? That was on there somewhere. Right there. Then we have this beautiful one. I think this is acrylic, but it's got all these little, they're kind of faceted, and it does have a lobster claw, and we do have a marking, and it is marked LC, probably Liz Claiborne, a very generous extra thing. So that's a Liz Claiborne. There's that one. And next up, we have, man, that's got a big lobster claw. This one is Coldwater Creek. Has a very large lobster claw on it. And here's your little things on it. Kind of a good accent necklace with something else. There's your Coldwater Creek thing right there. Down in there. Coldwater Creek. There's that one. Okay, next up we have, this one's pretty. It's little though. Let's see, where's that at? Is it marked? Nope. This is like a little gold tone with stones in it. It's just gold tone. It's this. It has stones in it right there. And then next up we have another little nice necklace here. This is also marked. Let's see what it's, maybe not. It's got a heart on the end of it. Let's see what we have here. I don't see anything, but it's kind of pretty. It looks kind of Victorian looking with the that right there with that twisted chain. It's really pretty, I thought. Move it in a little bit. It's not marked. It does have a lobster claw, and it does have a heart on the end right there. Kind of nice. There's that one. Then we have this. This is a little stretchy, a little gold tone that has this little micro pave hearts in it. Kind of a layering necklace. These right here are, you're probably good to go because I don't think it's gonna. If it does, you've really taken a hit somewhere. But moving on. Next up, we have this beautiful AB crystal. It appears to have a tag on it. Let's take a look. They make these things so 1928. It's got the really beautiful blue AB coated crystals, kind of in a teardrop like shape. There's that one. And moving on. So we have this one. It's very interesting. It's not marked. It's not silver, but you have your little thing right there on it with it's in pretty good shape with that lobster, not lobster, but that C clasp right there. There's that one. And next up we have, ooh, this is a pretty one. I can see that sparkle from a mile away. These are beautiful AB coated crystals here. I think this is an older necklace. You do have an extender on that as well. And there we have our 3 layers of AB coated crystals, kind of amber color. There's that one, 3 layers, very pretty. There's that. And next up we have This is wait a minute, maybe it does come apart. Let me see. Oh, yeah. This is a really nice heavy bracelet. It does have that magnetic closure on it. Then you have this right here, and then it just clicks shut, and it's got a pretty strong magnet on that. So there's that one. These are kind of nice when you're in a hurry and you're trying to fasten your bracelet and you're about ready to lose it because you can't do it because you're in a hurry. That's good for that. Okay. Sometimes you get some wild tangles going on. So, come on now. I had some untangling to do this morning, but I made it. It seems the more curious you are, the more you want to get it untangled just to see how good or how bad or whatever it is. But if I see something that I think looks like silver, I'm going to that first. Okay, we have a Leah Sophia. Whoops, I dropped a bracelet here. Excuse me. We have a Leah Sophia here. Kind of what you'd call that cha-cha style with the little extender. And anybody that's ever bought Leah Sophia knows it's not cheap. So there's that one. And so next up we have, let me get this out. We have this one here. This one is also marked. It seems like a lot of people are in the market for the marked. This looks like a Premier Designs, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have, I think these are neat, these little, like, that AB coated look to it. And then you have some glass beads in the black there. You also have some flowers as well on there, right there. And you have that. Let me turn that around. You have those little flowers, kind of a, there again, another nice layering necklace. And there's that one. And next up we have, let me see if I can get this out of here. This is a very heavy necklace. And Lord knows I don't want to get it over here and get it tangled up with something else. That's all we would need, right? Okay, I'm getting closer. Come on now. We'll just have to undo this clasp to get this off. Normally, when you have a big tangled mess, that's what you do. You unclasp all the clasp and hope for the best. This is a very heavy pendant. I think it's really pretty. There's the front of it right there. Those are probably faux stones, I would say. And there's the back, and it's a very heavy pendant right there. And it's on a cord, of course. I'm not crazy about cords. You know, you could always change them out if you wanted to. I'm not much on ribbon neither. I don't like ribbon because it gets so dirty. So next up, this is kind of pretty. This has a very nice chain on it. Let's see here. How do you get that off of there? You have to push that little lever right there, and then it will come out like that, like so, and come loose. I know Josie does have great things. I bought a brooch that was almost fell over when I knew it was pretty, but I didn't know it was that pretty. So there we have just a little simple necklace right here with the stone right there. Lobster claw, very clean. We'll pull this one since it just happened to come out of there. And we have this little yellow one here, kind of a long necklace. I'll move that in, kind of faceted. And this one is marked as well. This one is a Time and True. I've never heard of that brand. That brand. But there's that. And it's got your little kind of like the little beads right there. Never heard of that brand. It's kind of pretty though. There's that one. Getting close to the bottom here. Next up, whoops, we have a this has kind of got like links to it. Then you have the pretty faceted stones right there on it, and it comes up. You have that right there. And you have that right there. It's a longer necklace. It's probably good for a layering necklace. I know a lot of people like layering necklaces, so there's that. Okay. Now we have some charms. It says Leah Sophia. I think Leah Sophia was a little bit higher than what Premier Designs were. And here you have brand new with tags on it, made exclusively for Leah Sophia. You have a little key there. I went to Leah Sophia party one time and said, man, they're high. There's a key. Then you have another one, and it has like that you could add to another necklace if you wanted to. There's that one, got a little sparkle to it. We're getting close to the end here. And next up, we have this. Ooh, this is pretty, and all the stones are there. Here's a stretchy bracelet with the bead ball in the back. Really pretty. Let me move it in right here. Very, very nice. There's that one. Ooh, this one's sparkly. Then we have this one here. This one's a sparkly one. Look at those stones. Wow. That's pretty nice. Lobster claw right there. Those really have nice stones in it. And next up, we have, whoops, there was an earring. There is a pair of, did I drop that? I hope I didn't. Okay, we have a Liz Claiborne right here. Move that in. Perfect. Here's the back of it, the LC logo, Liz Claiborne. And next up, we have this little, it's a little heart. And it says Napier on the front of it. So I'm supposing that's what it is. I hope I didn't drop that. I'll probably never find it in this sea of mess up here. And it is a Napier. There's your tag right there. And there's your little heart. How cute. So, let's see. I know I heard something hit down here, and I probably, these are sterling, and the other one, it's down here somewhere because I heard it hit. But these are sterling silver. They're marked on the back, 925. And that's what hit the floor a minute ago. And if your floor looks like mine, I know it's down here somewhere. Because I know I seen it. I heard something clink. Well, it's in here. I'll find it later. And last but not least is this little bracelet that has stars on it. Little tiny bracelet. Right like that. It has stars on it. And That, my friends, is the gist of it there. What did I do with that? But this is the thing I was showing everyone earlier. This is like, I guess, a sunglass case. So I picked it up. Let me open it here. And when you see the name Armani, it just stops you in your tracks. That's what it looks like, all the paperwork, the little cleaning thing. But this is what I saw when I looked in there. There's a receipt from the Sunglass Hut. I didn't know they sold such expensive items. $90. It didn't take me long to snap that up. So evidently it says, evidently that's what that was for. Cashier transaction, spring bonus. Holy cow, it was a lot more than they got an additional charge off of it. Mercy. It rung in at only a mere $110, might I add. And this is like maybe from where I was, this is like maybe 10 miles from where I was. This was probably in the mall, I would say. But they kept the receipt in there, so I grabbed it. So it was just for the case itself. Black. Yep. Can you believe that? Like I said, you don't have to. You could put any pair of sunglasses in there you wanted to. It's all about the appearance, right? Right. So this one is kind of small compared to, but I know this is in here somewhere. It's sterling. And I heard something hit, and I know that's what it was, but that's what they are, little sterling bow earrings. How cute. So, you guys are awful quiet out there. I was thinking about something today that as I was coming home that I was going to bring up since I have the gift for Gab. How many of you guys out there believe in guardian angels? With a show of hands. I don't know why I was thinking about that on the way home, but I was. But I've had my own experiences with guardian angels. My first one was when I was about, I would say I was about 11 or 12 years old, and I was on a bike, and there's like a hill coming, there was a curve. Yes. And this car was flying, and I was on a bicycle, and I knew I was going to get hit. I just knew it. And I had no recognition of the time space between then and getting to the side of the road. And I ended up on the side of the road. Like I said, there was no variance in time, and I didn't even know how I got there, but I knew one thing: as fast as he was going, coming up the middle of that hill, I knew I was a goner. But my guardian angel was there once again. Then I had another experience when I was in my 20s. I was coming home. Normally, I never worked during the night, but I filled in for somebody, and I was coming home I would say about 8 miles from where I live, and I knew there was a car coming, so I clicked my lights down. Yep, Cheryl does. We have two believers out there, and this is real. And I seen a car coming, so I clicked my light down, and I looked up, and there was this little doe there. It wasn't like I took my eyes off the road. It was just there. Wow. And what had happened was, it's like it was in slow motion. It looked as if something, and I was driving a Camaro, and you know how low they sit. By all laws of nature, that deer should have come right through my windshield. But it was like it was in slow motion. It looked like some invisible hands took and twisted that deer's body, and it ended up on the other side of the road, and I thought, oh God, because it did some damage. I mean, it cracked the hood and everything. And I seen it. I said, "Oh my God, the police are going to think I was flying and knock that thing a bug wind." But no, I could. It was like invisible hands, and I could see that body, the body of the deer twist, and it landed on the other side of the road. So I called the police because there was damage on my vehicle. And he goes, "You want the deer?" I said, "Lord, no." I said, "Let somebody else have it." But that was another instance right there. And then another time I lived about this a rental house about a couple blocks up the way. And I was going to get my daughter some diapers, and the other lady turned on the street and I turned off of it. Well, in the meanwhile, this guy comes through there, and I didn't even see him coming, and he passed around her and hit me right in the driver's side of my door. And I remember saying, "Oh my God," was the only thing I said. And so I managed to get it off to the side of the road. And of course, it was right by the firehouse. And I was like, the person that hit me wouldn't come across the road to see if I was alive or dead because he was drunk. So he passed in a no passing zone, failed to yield the right of way of the person that he was behind. And they couldn't believe that I was not hurt because it hit me right in the door. I did not have one scratch. And that's how I know that they exist. But so here later on, they had us both in the cop car, and the guy smelled like a distillery. Evidently, the guy that drove the wrecker, I went to school with him, and he told me that he was drinking something on the point of impact because there was whiskey smell all over his vehicle. And so I'm sitting there thinking, who hit me? Who hit me? And they had him in the car because he was done arrested because he was pickled. So he goes, "Well, it was both our faults." I said, "How do you figure that when you didn't yield the right of way in a no passing zone, might I add?" And they took him on to jail. And so my insurance company, it was Farm Bureau, they had to go after him, and they canceled our insurance because a drunk hit me and could have hurt me really bad. And boy, I went down there, and that's when I really had that bad temper, and when I was younger. But we had a couple life policies. They canceled our vehicles, and we had a couple life policies and something else. And I went down there. I could still see what I was wearing that day. I was wearing a white blouse with a little red skirt that had white dots in it and a pair of white high heels. And I went in there. I said, "You know what? You want to cancel our insurance? I want all that out today." "Oh, no." I said, "Yes." I said, "Do I look like I'm stupid? I want it all out today." And they had to pay up. Family a while back, super rude adjuster. Yeah, back years ago when my mother-in-law, somebody hit her and knocked her over into a parking lot, and she hit hit one car and it hit another, and they had the same insurance company. So naturally, you know what, they thought that it was staged. And that was back, my father-in-law, the adjuster was saying, well, it was all her fault. And my father-in-law stepped up and he said, "You're here to do the adjustment, not to determine who's right or wrong. But what's the chances of somebody hitting somebody? They go in a parking lot, hit somebody else, and that pushes it into somebody else. And they all three have the same insurance company. So they're thinking, did they stage that? I wouldn't stage anything like that. That would be crazy." I'm like, then the guy calls me that hit me and says, "Well, if you don't turn it into your insurance company," "Hey, Brian, welcome in. I'll pay to have your car fixed." I said, "Hello." I said, "They know about you and you're in a lot of trouble. And how dare you?" I said, "Anybody was drunk like you was, I don't think I could trust them. You're going to deal with the insurance company because it's out of my hands." I said, it's all you and them, but I didn't think it was right that I was penalized because he hit me. He had lapsed insurance driving his mother-in-law's vehicle. So that's what we was dealing with. So they went after him. But when he hit me, the drink went everywhere all over him. Brian, I know I didn't have an accident. We're talking about guardian angels. So, Brian, since you came in, do you believe in guardian angels? We've been sharing our experiences and everything, and I know I have one, but I do think we have. Yes, Brian believes, because I'm sure he has experienced things as well that 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 there's something to it. It's just not luck or whatever. There is something to that. I really believe that. But yeah, but I knew I had one even as a child, being on that bicycle and that car coming up through there in the middle of the road on a curve and me on a bicycle, and I knew I had it. And I just ended up on the side of the road. I had no variance, mind wise, I had no concept of time, and I just ended up there on the side of the road. And when you're young like that and you're really not that aware, you just think, well, that's coincidence. But I knew that I was going to be hit by that car. I knew it. And it's like I almost accepted it because I knew that, but God had different plans. Thank goodness. Or I wouldn't be sitting here talking. Another incident that I had, one of these little Honda Sprees when they first came out, this little scooter, and we was going to the forestry. My mother-in-law and husband was in the car behind us, and there was like 5 cars. Well, here comes this guy, and he went around all of them, and I heard a horn. I don't know if it was his horn, and I just stopped. If he'd hit me, I'd been dead. Then my husband's all tore up. I said, what are you so upset about? I'm here. But he passed 5 cars and went around somebody. And I was getting ready to turn in there. If I'd have turned, he'd have knocked me into the next county because he was booking it, That speed kills now, no doubt about it. It does kill. But yeah, I think we've all had experiences where that's very real, and I totally believe that. There's too many things that happen that are not coincidence. But I'm so glad Laura is safe, and I hope you don't experience anything else. I know you said it's going to possibly be worse, but my heart was racing. It really was. I don't know if, I'm sure Laura's was, because, when you look at a phone and see a bunch of houses leveled to nothing that look like matchsticks, it's going to make you nervous. But we had a bad one here in 2012. It was awful. But our house had $60,000 worth of damage. See, they couldn't match the siding, so they had to wrap the whole thing. So I picked a different color. I said, hey, why not just change the color of it? Then, of course, you have these contractors that come in when a town is in pretty bad shape. And we had a Southern Roofing, and they come in, and we had this one, they put wood, the siding around our windows and everything. And this one guy came to the house, and he goes, they didn't pay me and all this, that, and the other. And he said, I'm going to go back to the office, and if they don't pay me, I'm coming back here. I said, stop right there. I said, our debt was paid to the office. You need to deal with them. Don't be coming back up here. And I said, that sounded threatening, and that was a bad career move on your part. But it was just a nightmare. Yes, Brian is a sweetheart. He sure does. And we all need those, you know. You get out on that road, you don't know what you're going to face. Somebody uh, doing stupid stuff. And, you know, that person always wants to be first in a hurry to get nowhere. You know what I mean? And then they might hurt somebody, and that really defeats the purpose of, you know. But yeah, you get out there and you drive, you better look all around to the back because I always told my daughter to be aware of her surroundings, and I'm sure a lot of you have young people that are driving, and you always think, you know, oh my God, what if? You know, you just have to, and it's hard to let them go. My husband, he worked with my daughter quite a bit, and of course, he had that invisible brake on the passenger side, and he'd stretch out and, you know, and she'd say, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just stretching." I said, "No, he's reaching for that invisible brake on the passenger side." But yeah, they have to learn, and it's scary sometimes when you think about them out there with everybody else. It may not be them; it might be someone else. You know, it's just you know, but. I remember I come this garbage truck, and I was 5 months pregnant. My mom had her hip dislocated in the rehab that she was in, and they put it back today. So, oh, okay, Brian, we sure will. Her hip dislocated in the rehab. How old is your mom, Brian? We will be praying for her. That's serious business. 88. Oh my goodness, I imagine there was a little pain associated with that as well. You know, wow. Mm-mm-mm. So Brian, he came in. He wanted to relax and talk to friends, and they haven't told you how it happened. I'd be curious. Maybe, you know, I would kind of look into that. You know, maybe she kind of twisted or something. Because when we get, you know, in the her age and everything, the bones and everything are kind of a little weak. But I'd look into it. Yeah, Brian, I would definitely find out. You know, I had a was taking care of a lady that had a friend in a nursing home, and I don't see how this place stayed open. Her friend was in there, and they had trimmed her friend's nails, and she had her thumb was all bandaged up, and she had blood drops on her shirt, and there were not even safety bars in the restroom, you know, to where you could hold on to them. And so we got the nurses came in there, and I said, "You need to change her." And it wasn't even my place. I said, "You need to change this lady's clothes and clean her up." And she had had a stroke, and she was already getting dementia, you know, and everything. And I had such a bad feeling, you know, the lady I was taking care of had a stroke, and she was in a wheelchair. She could walk with a walker, but yeah, you have to watch them. And I looked at her and I said, "You know what?" I said, and her daughter got sick and she had something on her brain. I said, if they don't get her out of here, she will die in this place. I said, "Did you look in? There's not even bars on the where they use the restroom at. How do facilities get away with that?" You know, that is just that just makes my blood boil when I think somebody's not being taken care of. You know, but you know, I don't see how it passed any kind of. Um, but it wasn't my place. But I said, "Look at her shirt," and I said she needs to be, and they did it too. So I don't like to see people mistreated like that, because when I come in, they better be on their toes. That wasn't it was my client's friend, and I wanted to see her taken care of appropriately. You know, don't treat Just because you're older and you've had a stroke doesn't mean that you don't have dignity. It's like, don't treat them like that. You get a lot of people that work in these nursing facilities that feel like that they don't want to do anything and they're goofing off. And yeah, Brian, please check that out. Sometimes it's even good to pop in on them randomly to see what's up, because you never know. Boy, I remember going to the hospital with a client of mine, but her family was home and her daughter said, "Please go with mom." So I rode in the ambulance and she went to the hospital. And she wanted some water and they was being slow, and I was really mouthy. Yeah, she did pass, unfortunately, and she had, when you have a stroke, sometimes it limits parts of your brain, and I think that's where it came from. But if someone's like that, you really need to protect them because you never know what's going on. And sometimes it's good just to pop in to see what's up because you never know. Like I said, I couldn't believe that one nursing facility had a license with what I saw. You are supposed to have bars in the restroom for those people. I mean, that was crazy. I'm like, what? I just couldn't understand it. But it doesn't hurt to keep them honest, just to stop in there. But yeah. And she has dementia. Oh my God, Brian, I'm so sorry. My mother-in-law had that, and it's so sad to see. And we're going to be praying for you, Brian, because I know what that is. I've seen it a lot. They get that. My mother-in-law had that, and a lot of times they repeat themselves, and they can remember something that happened 30 years ago but can't remember the present. They do have something you can take for that. It will not totally remove it, but it'll slow it down. But it's so sad to watch the one you love with that, because you knew them as, really sharp. And it's just, it's really sad that happens to people. But that's the older generation's worst fear, is to get that. I don't know if, I don't believe it's hereditary. I think it's something that just happens to people. And you have people that's way into their 90s that are really sharp, but sometimes that does come about. But yeah, they wouldn't let her drive after so long because they were afraid that, number one, she would come out and not remember where she was parked and panic. And so, yeah, sometimes you have to step in. Do you have other siblings, Brian? Sometimes these places, if people keep coming in on routine things and they see that, it makes them step their game up. But yeah, 2 brothers. So there's 3 boys. I had 2 sisters, a brother, and a stepbrother. So same dad, different mom on the stepbrother. But yeah, there was 5 of us. I have a sister that's 2 years older than me. My oldest sister passed away. She had cancer. She had esophageal cancer, and she passed away. And we're different people. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Was that your older sister, Brian, or was she younger than you? That's something that's why. Do we butt heads with our siblings? Probably so. It started back from the very beginning, but we don't know when something's going to happen to somebody, and it may be the last time. She was the oldest. It may be the last time you see that person, and sometimes people's tempers get the best of them, and we have to, hey, Clint, welcome in. Now that he's a go-getter too. Aren't you, Clint? Good to see you, Clint. Yeah. Yeah, I took care of a guy that had Williams syndrome, and he was 35, and he couldn't see, it's where a chromosome is missing, and he was really smart. He could play the electric guitar and the drums like a professional, but that is something so common of people with that disability. And he was he was when I first heard him play the drums, I was like, oh my gosh. And he done it by ear, and he was really good. He could play that electric guitar. I mean, his parents were divorced, so he had guitars at his dad's place and then at his mom's. But I had never seen, he was uber talented. Of course, his dad was a musician himself, and he was really talented in that. I guess it's like I say, it's just a characteristic of that disability. But, just like you have blind people, I forget who it was that was blind and he could play the piano by ear. Hey, Joanne, welcome in, sweetheart. And he could play the piano by ear. He could not see, but he could play the piano because sometimes when we're disabled like that, another sense kicks in. But it's just amazing to see people have such talent. Now I couldn't play anything, but hey, I'm not a musician. But Clint, he's a crafter as well, and he's just as sweet as he can be. And I thought every time I show jewelry, I always start talking, so why not include it? But we were talking about guardian angels. Clint, do you have a guardian angel? There you go. Stevie went, yeah, and they were blind, and it was just, it was a gift from God because, you know, yep. So Clint believes in them too. I don't know, something just impressed that upon me to talk about that today for some reason. I don't know. It just popped into my head. But years ago, I had a friend that her daughter said that her guardian angel looked like me. And I'm like, wow, what a connection. But, I do believe that there are angels amongst us. Yep. And Joanne has one as well. But I know we have all had experience that point to that guardian angel. And I know I have, you know, we all have that. And this day and time, boy, don't we need them. That's for sure. Right. Angels unaware. And a lot of times I can kind of tell when mine's around because I smell a floral scent and I don't have perfume on. I know that's when there's one there. I can smell that floral scent. But yeah, angels come in many different forms, but that's how I indicate when mine's around because I can smell a floral scent. I've asked my husband, I said, do you smell that? And he goes, no. So it must be meant for me, right? Yeah. But we all have those moments where we just know that there was a higher power or someone with us. But we really do. And it's just really it's kind of comforting to know that. But it says in the Bible, do not be afraid, for I am with you. And he does have angels that come down to assist him in your time of need. And, they're really there. Yes, I've heard of that too. When your loved ones or angels are around, you can smell. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I believe in that totally. I believe that sometimes that our loved ones come and visit us to see how we are, in the form of an angel. I really believe that. It's not we're not talking spooky, we're talking this is real. It's true and it's very real, you know. But I remember now sometimes things do get a little spooky. I used to clean a church up the way, and a lot of times my husband would go with me and stuff, and he was up there vacuuming in the main part of the church, and he comes downstairs. He said something was up there bothering me, and I'm not going back in there. I said, how bad could it be? You're in a church. He goes, I don't care. Something was behind me. You have people that there's a lot of funerals in churches, and I had the same. Well, it was different, but it was in the basement. I went down the steps, and the next thing I know, that door, which has to be pushed that way, come open and it shut, and the hair stood up. Yeah, I'm not. That's the first time I've ever been afraid, and the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I ran into the restroom and I went in the stall, and I was so afraid I was going to see feet under that, like a shadow. But I know it was real. And I told them at church, and they had been digging where that was the room to the furnace. And they had been digging in there. And I went there. I said, what did you guys wake up? And I told them what happened, but I'm not the only one that experienced things like that. And some guy said something about a witch, and I looked at him. I told my husband, I said, if he thinks a ghost's scary, if he don't want to make me mad, I know what I saw, I know what I experienced, um, but that's the first time that I was ever really truly spooked out. And that door is heavy, and it went about that wide open, and you have to push it like that for it to do that. And I'm like, I ran up them steps. I probably could have won the Kentucky Derby that year, but it was scary. Yeah, Joanne, they do. They really do. So, like my dad always said, it's not the dead you have to be afraid of. It's those ones that's living that you have to watch out for. And when my dad was alive, they lived in a house that there was things would go on. They had the wiring checked numerous times, and there'd be a big group in the kitchen. Lights would go out, and it would come back on. And I saw a touch tone lamp change 3 times myself. And there was something definitely going on in there. And the previous owners of that place, there's something going on in there. So a friend of mine called me, and she goes, this is going on. I said, well, I could have told you that. And she goes, if you get a chance, run down there and talk to her and tell her what I didn't live there. My dad did. And I said, yes, the woman's not cuckoo. There's stuff that went on in there. And the funny part, even the granddaughter that inherited the place that lived next door, she would not come in that house, period. There was stuff left behind. She would not come in there. So evidently there must have been something to that. But I think we probably all experienced a few crazy things. Yeah, for sure. There are definitely angels out there. We may have a few demons running around, but there are angels out there. So, in human form, that is. But I thought, well, we'll just have this reveal and some chit chat, because I usually end up talking anyway. So why don't we just combine the two? I believe there's a higher power. I believe that he does have angels, and he does send them down when we really need them the most. And I truly believe that, you know, but it's just good to know that, that you're protected, because sometimes we need that. But taking my mind off the storms. Well, I'm glad I did too, Laura, because yesterday my heart was racing. I'm like, oh no, almost here. Well, Laura, you make sure that you head to your basement. Laura's not a storm chaser, I guarantee you. But this is the time of year where we do have storms. And if you would have seen the picture on her phone, it would have made your hair stand up. She chases spoons. That's good. Yeah, Laura, I'm glad that you have us with you. Hey, Victoria. Welcome in. We're talking about guardian angels. It went from jewelry to guardian angels. But no, that's no joke. Well, tell Nana I said hello too. Good to see you, sweetheart. But yeah, I tell you, those tornadoes are no joke. They're no joke because in 2012, two of them come through here, and I was at work, and they said that they initially was going to come through Scott County, and that's where I was. And I guess it was a bad storm here, and my husband kept trying to call me. He finally got a hold of me, and he said, stay where you're at. And the lady that I had a client, and she was upset. I said, don't worry, I'm right here. Oh, okay, Victoria. I said, I'm right here, don't worry. I said, let's go to your bathroom. There's no windows in there. We'll take pillows. Do not worry, I will not leave you. You know what? It's a good thing, because if I'd have been on that expressway, I'd have been dead in the eye of the storm, because there was a semi overturned in the median, and it was scary. It really was. I watched the videos of the tornado over there, and it amazed me about the people just standing out there with their phones taking videos. Also, storm chasers. I tell you what, tornadoes. I mean, there are people that do that, but I would not do it. When they tell you to get to your basement, it doesn't mean get to your phone and start filming that, because something could fly through there and knock your head off. But to each their own. But yeah, it was pretty. And then I was able to come home later, and Henryville was a mess. I came in, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get off the Henryville exit, so I went down one more exit and come in. There was police. I come into the back of Henryville. There was police everywhere, and there was telephone poles that were down like dominoes. And it was dark, and it broke our big glass door, and it's cold and a little wet here in PA. I was shocked at the people outside video. I know it. Yeah, you don't tempt fate, because that's what, them tornadoes are dangerous. We've had a little bit of moisture here, but I tell you, if you've ever seen a tornado or been exposed to one, it scares you really bad. Yeah, that's true. We're grown, and it's not worth your life. Getting that shot or that video is not worth your life, and some people think that, well, it can't happen to me. Well, get out there, and we had hail that big that time that tornado came through here, and we didn't have electricity for 3 days. It was that bad, and we had a generator, And so we had a pellet stove where it burns wood pellets, and we was able to hook that to a generator. And some guy said, that's what kept me awake. I said, I like to stay warm. I said, sorry about that. But yeah, it was terrible. I took some of the coldest baths in my existence those 3 days. It's like, shh. And then in the meanwhile, my mother in law had passed. It was a leap year and she had passed away. And these police wouldn't let people through. And my brother-in-law called my husband and said, you ready to fight? I said, he ain't no fighter. You better take me. I'll go with you. I said, we'll get him straight. But yeah, everything was really tore up. It was terrible. It was really a bad scene. But this is the time of year where they hit. Everyone needs to be, hey, Jason, welcome in. Everyone needs to be weather aware. We're talking about guardian angels, Jason. I went from showing this jewelry lot to talking about guardian angels. I think we all have one. I just love to hear about people's experience of how they know that their angel was there, and just I know I've got one. I was saved too many times by mine. Now, has she been able to put a muzzle on me? No, not yet. But for sure I have them. I need many. Yeah, sometimes there's just that experience where you know that they're there and that your life has been saved because of one. Your life has really been saved, and it's just good to know, because out there in this world, we're exposed to all kinds of things, and you just never know. You just gotta, but our weather's halfway decent here. It's been overcast and everything, and it just, but no, Laura, we're praying for you, and I'm glad you're here. My heart just about, it was like that yesterday because I was so worried. But it says in the Bible, do not worry. And as humans, that's really hard not to worry. I know when I was in my 20s, I had one for sure. But I knew I had one at a very young, like 11 or 12 years old. I knew that I had one, And I think there are people out there that have insight to a lot of things. And, you ever had one of those deja vu moments when you're doing something and you know what happened before and something clicks in your brain or something? It's hard to, that you went through that experience or that, whatever that was, it's kind of weird, kind of spooky, but yeah, it's just, that deja vu moment when you know that somewhere, either what you were feeling or something you was going through that, and you could feel it, and it was really strange, but we'll protect. Our prayers are going to protect you, Laura. Don't worry. We got you. We may not be there, but we all love you. So don't worry. It's hard not to worry when you know something might be coming, but years ago I lived in Lexington, Indiana, and there were a lot of storms around then. And there was a picture submitted to the newspaper, and it looked like Christ. He didn't have a head, but it looked like Christ with his arms open in that picture. And it was really spooky, but he had his arms open. And there was a lot of people died that day. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to talk about that. But yeah, there were pictures. I may have been in the maybe the fifth or sixth grade when that happened. The rest of your night. Thank you, Cheryl, for coming in. I appreciate that. Go and get your I feel privileged that you missed your nap to be here with us. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. But I I know there, I like to share my experiences with mine, and I find it so interesting that other people have the same thing. Who's stalking Jason? Oh, speaking of stalkers, okay, Laura is, well, you're safe, Jason. When I was probably in the 10th grade. I went to school just right up the road here. And this real creepy guy, I would try to go out different doors, and I walked home from school and he'd be right behind me. I'm like, oh no. I said, I'm being stalked. So I go out different doors to try to avoid him. Next thing I know, he's right behind me. I'm like, Lord have mercy. And my oldest sister was laying out in the yard, and I guess he was peeking over, and the neighbor told my stepmom, and she goes, if I catch him on my property, I'm going to shoot him. He was peeping at my oldest sister and everything. So he must have, us sisters must have had an effect on him, huh? I had somebody when we first moved here. I was out in the yard, way over, minded my own business in my yard. And I had a friend come in, and of course I covered up everything, had a swimsuit on, and they said there was 3 heads next door to you lined up peeping. I'm like, for God's sake. It was the old man and his 3 sons. I said, well, and I was way over out of the way, and they were, I'm like, for God's sake, they need to get a life, right? But nothing like a peeping Tom. I had somebody, we've got a rental house about 2 blocks up, and at that time I had a little toy poodle, and there was like a back porch thing that was made into a laundry room, and there was a window right there to the kitchen. And that's back before I was talking on the phone, and the dog kept growling, and I was talking and trying on clothes. And the next thing I know, the dog's growling, looking toward the window, and I see a set of glasses looking through my window come up on that back porch where that laundry room was, looking in my window at me. And I slammed the phone down. I said, oh my gosh, somebody's out there. And so I kind of went out the front, and he must have been on a bicycle because he hit that bicycle, and I don't think the wheels ever touched the ground on his way out. But that's a good way to get shot, somebody peeping in your window. I seen those glasses looking through there, and I'm like, uh-oh. But it was some kid, you can't peep in people's windows, or somebody's gonna get you sooner or later. Then there was another time. My husband, he worked the late shift, and it was about 2:30 in the morning. So I was folding clothes. I had the window open, nice breeze coming in. So this was almost funny, but not really. So he thought he seen a shadow by the garage, kind of hunkered down. So next thing I know, I hear somebody cussing, and my husband comes in. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, somebody about knocked me down getting out, leaving the yard, so a bunch of sickos. What do I have? It's showtime on my window or what? So it takes all kinds. Yeah, it is dangerous because you really don't know what people are up to, these days. And So you got to watch out. Maybe I lived in the neighborhood with a bunch of perverts. I don't know, but pretty scary stuff. So, Laura, what's it doing where you're at right now? You got to keep account of Laura there because we that way she doesn't feel like she's by herself. But no storms are just getting here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, those storms can be unpredictable. Sometimes they might just flare up and then die off and move on somewhere else. But this is the time of year where they flare up. Yeah, she is. Laura's got a basement, so she has somewhere to go. We do too. We have a basement down here that we can go to in the event. I remember one year we had some bad weather here, and I had me and the dog and the cockatiel went downstairs, and my daughter, and then our sub pump quit working. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, we're all praying for you, Laura. Hang in there. It'll be okay. Scary stuff. Oh, yes, we have a basement. During that 2012 tornado, the hail bounced off the ground and broke our basement windows out. Joanne, go to the lowest, put as much between you and the storm. If you have to, go out and take you something to cover your head and go out in a low area so that but yeah, that is scary. Yeah, the best thing to do sometimes is cover your head with something so you won't get your head injured in the event something falls. So anyway, yeah, Laura, she had her live last night and she did really well considering how scary the situation was. And I think it helped her get her mind off of it and get focused on other things, and which is a good thing during a storm like that. It really is. You got things. Yeah, we had a big claim because we have a big house and they couldn't match our siding, so they had to wrap the whole thing. Our garage, you had to have all the metal taken off of it, but I don't think it's going to help much. We have a lot of trees around us. Yeah, that is scary. Yeah, we used to have a lot of trees too until we had some of them fall from old age, and they took the metal off of our. It's about to pick up my son listening but not typing. Okay, be safe out there, Laura. But they had to take all the metal off the garage, and the guy said, "Oh, I'm just going to load that on my truck." I said, "Oh no, you're not." I cashed it in and made $90. But yeah, they had to do a lot of work here. Then they left their cooler behind, and naturally, I'm a female. I'm curious. I'll call it curiosity. And I looked in there, and they had been drinking beer on my property up on scaffoldings where they could have broke their full necks. I called that company. I said, let me tell you something. I said, they've been up here and I see beer, all this. I said, no, not on my property, not when I'm liable for it. I said, you better send somebody else. I said, no wonder they were so happy during lunchtime. They was out there singing and everything. Hi, Deb. Welcome in. But yeah, I had one fit right after the other because the contractor lied to me and I had to relieve him of his job off of us anyway. But yeah, it was awful. Then they wanted to leave that stuff laying on my yard. I said, y'all gonna pick that up? I said, I'll tell you where the Clark County dump is, and you can take it right there to the dump because I don't want my grass killed. Then they was out there working on the siding. I was taking a bath. The next thing I hear a crash in my pedestal sink, and a light fixture came off and broke in my. I had made them replace it too. And they said they thought they broke the basement window. I said, no, you broke a thing off my wall in here. And I said, I'll be billing somebody for that, you know. But the wood on this house was made back when, in the 1926, when they used really good quality things, you know. But I had to have one fit right after the other to get them to do the right thing. But a man telling me if he didn't get paid for his job, he's coming back here. I don't think so. That was sounded like a threat to me, you know. So I said, yeah, I said, the company was paid in full. You need to go back and hash it out with them because I paid, everything's been paid, you know. It was a $60,000 claim because his house is big and the air conditioning unit was messed up. It still worked. They replaced it. I'm going to say, no, don't replace that. It still works. I'm going to say, replace it, you know. Do it, you know. So, yeah, it was very interesting to say the least. But everybody survived, and I don't think there was any deaths that year, which was a good thing. So, yeah, a lot of times, but you know, it really scares you to see these houses like just flat, and you know, it really scares you to see that. I always said this house will be standing when the rest of them are on the ground. Probably this one and the one next door because they were built back in the day. So, made. Hey, Lucky Ducky, I was thrifting the other day and I found it's this big and it's a duck, like a rubber ducky, except it's a planter. I found that the other day. And the first one I thought about was you. And you're like, oh boy. But it was really cute. Yes, I did. It's about yay big and it's yellow and it's got that beak and it's a planter. It's really cute. I say, what doesn't she not buy? Mi familia, my family. I know some. That's that's Spanish, isn't it? Mi familia. I took some Spanish in school. I could put a few sentences together. But okay, mi familia. There you go. Do you speak Spanish, Lucky Ducky? Me no, I know very little. Me no habla español. Me no speak Spanish. Poquito. What's that mean? Poquito. I don't know what that means. But yes, it was a duck, like one of those. Mi habla poquito español. Me speak habla poquito español. Little. Okay. Well, you know some. You said poquito. You said something that I didn't know. Which one? Right, left. This is a little bit. Lucky Ducky, what is your ring on your left hand? But right, left. This is not real. This is my decoy when I go out. So Everyone will know I'm taking, except it's not real, just in case somebody tries to take it. It's not real, but it's pretty. This is my decoy. No, Lucky Ducky, I just showed a jewelry lot and we're talking about guardian angels. Thank you. It's a decoy. It's just one of those little cheapy ones, but it's made really well. It's pretty, isn't it? No, that was Thursday. But anywho, we're just talking about guardian angels and things in general. And we want some prayers for Brian and his mother. I'm in Indiana for his mother. His mother dislocated her hip, and Laura's in the midst of a storm. So we want to keep those people in our prayers. Or shoulder, or one of those things. But yeah, she went. When I seen that, I thought of you automatically. It's a lucky ducky. I want to call it in Indiana. Yes, I've been watching all the tornadoes. Prayers to everyone. Yeah, I've got a lot of that E word, that everything. That's for sure. But but yeah, those storms are nothing to. We're just pray for Laura and Brian and Joanne too, because we want to make sure everyone's okay. You know, anytime there's a storm involved, there's always a lot of fear associated with that. And if we can help someone feel better, that's the main thing. But like I said, we're in that time of year where, well, April's just about gone, but a tornado can really strike at any time, really. But oh, you was in Indiana, Ducky? Wow. How did you go from Indiana to get from Indiana to California? Just 1 and 2 years. Yeah. A lot of times they can go through an area and skip and then go on to another one too. I know that. Oh, you went to college in Indiana? Did you go to IUS or uh, Ivy Tech or maybe one of the bigger ones? Maybe University, Indiana University. And so, Lucky Ducky, what courses did you take? What was your main reason for going to college? Okay. Medical. Okay. So you're the medical part. So did you medical as in doctor or nurse? Paramedic. Now they see a lot of action, the paramedics do. I had a friend of mine's a paramedic and off campus. She's been chased, spit on, punched. Yeah, they get a lot of the bad stuff sometimes, but yeah, she did it for a long time, and She had a double mastectomy and she quit doing it, but yeah, they get chased and kicked and hit, and they have to lift a lot of heavy people and stuff like that. And but yeah, the stories she could tell you, a lot of situations you go into there, you never know what you're going into. Pretty scary. Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Yeah, horrible things. And I think the worst would be when a child was involved or something that would be bad. That would, okay, you got out of it and went to home hospice care. There again, that can be sad as well, because a lot of people in hospice, that's their last moment, their last days. Not always, but sometimes it is. That's they're reaching their final stages of life. But you get attached to them, and it just about kills you when something happens to them, because you know I was so guilty of getting attached to them. And I didn't do hospice, but I did home health care with a lot of people. And you get attached to them, and just like, um, yeah, it's hard, but they're wonderful people. Not totally going off the rails here, but on my way into town, I saw this may it was like a thing for a funeral home, and it carried the casket, and it was made like the early 30s, where you can view the casket from the back side of the vehicle and the sides. And it was like almost in the fashion of a Rolls Royce. I had never seen anything so cool in my life. You could see it had window in the back where you could see, and then on the sides were glass. And of course, it turned in. They was probably taking the body from the church back to the funeral home. And it was so neat. It was black and white. It had those the wheels that had all the spokes and everything. It was just amazing to see. Back in the day, they had where they could had the glass where they could see but they was taking it on. And I'm in the hospital right now. Some of them are amazing. You, Deb, what's going on? You said I'm in the hospital right now. Some of them are amazing. What's going on, Deb? Are you visiting? Are you in there? Deb, you're in the hospital being taken care of, or you would work in the hospital. Yeah. That's another thing. A lot of your clients, your older clients, don't say the H word. They don't like to hear that. But sometimes it's necessary because they really need that care. But I remember riding in an ambulance with a client. It's her daughter. She goes, "Well, I'm going to follow you. Would you please ride with mom?" So I was in there, and we got her to the hospital, and her daughter comes out there and she grabs me. I said, "Your mom is not," she was doing a lot of throwing. I said, "She's not throwing up." I said, "She's doing better. It'll be okay." I said, "Let's just get in there." And for someone to, and that was her mother, to want, she must have thought a lot of me to want me to ride with her mother. And I got right in there and stuff, and I told her to hang in there. We're almost to the hospital. But she remembers me being there. She remembers that. I broke my knee, so I can't walk. Some of the care aids are sweet. Oh my goodness. Deb, how did you break your knee? Now, this is serious. Your kneecap's pretty durable. You must have had a terrible fall or something. Of course, nothing strong. It depends upon what that hits. So yeah, you'll have to have rehab and have to learn how to use that all over again, depending upon how bad it's damaged. You know, Th- excuse me. Thank goodness I've never broke a bone. I used to love the work, the adrenaline rush, and saving lives. Then I got married and had my daughter. Once I had a child, I could not handle the accidents anymore. Yeah, you go through some pretty gruesome things. That's awful. Yes, Deb, we'll keep you in our prayers. So there's another one that is going to go in our prayers. We have Laura, we have Brian and his mom, we have Joanne as well. Now we have Deb because Joanne and Laura is in an area where there's going to be some storms. I feel nothing exciting, but I can't walk. Okay. Hope you didn't damage any ligaments or anything in there. So that's so much. You're welcome, Deb. Yeah, that probably. Thank goodness I've never broke anything yet. Knock on wood. I remember one time they had a breakfast at the church, and there was a light like a light and it froze, and it was I stepped out of the car, and then my husband did, and I went down immediately and fell on the most padded thing there is, my behind. He goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm over here on the where I've fallen on that." Boom, and your feet just flies right. I said, "I did land on the meatiest part, however, the back side." So, I mean, you just step out there and boom, you're down before you can catch your breath. Oh, yes, this is wonderful to know that, there are people that need prayers out there, and if people can come in a chat and feel like they're loved, that's important. So you're back home now. Good. I'm glad that you're home and don't want you out there driving. So listen at her. She's acting like my mama. But yeah, it's good to kind of be off the road during these times. I took a fall down the stairs there at the house and broke my right 12th rib. Horrible pain for weeks. That was a few years ago. Oh, goodness. Woo. Wow. Anytime you break a bone, it's not good. I got to tell you this story since we're all into this. I used to work for a vending company, probably, it was probably 12 years ago. So I filled the machines, took the money, and all that. So one day I was going to go to lunch. So I come out to that little garage that the storage was in, and there was a, I'm 58, I have RM afraid to fall. Yeah, you got to be careful. So there was a garage door there. So I remember this well. It was my birthday, and I went to pull that down, and the top panel swung down and hit me in the head. And it was heavy. It was an older one, and it drove me down to the ground. I didn't go down on the ground, but I was in a crouched position. I didn't even know what hit me. And if I'd have been looking up, it'd have broke my nose. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I went up to the front and I said, I was hit in the head by your door when I pulled that down. It's about real long. It swung down and hit me right in the head. And she goes, honey, you better sit down. You don't look right. I said, if you got hit in the head like I did, you probably wouldn't look right neither. And I waited on my boss. I called and told her I got hit in the head. I waited for her hide for 45 minutes. She didn't show up. I went right to the emergency, and they did an x-ray and everything, and I was fine. But then she shows up an hour after the fact. While I was in traffic, I said, well, what was wrong with your phone? I said, I was hit in the head. I said, anything could have happened. Then it was done at a college, and Ivy Tech was blaming the company I worked for, and it was going back and forth. And they said, well, she was on your clock. And they said, well, she was on your premises. And then I get a bill, and boy, the stuff hit the fan. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I have insurance, but it happened on your watch. And if you don't pay that bill, I'm going to call my insurance company and let them talk to you about it. And they paid it. I said, I was hurt on your, on your watch. And I said, you want me to turn into my insurance company? I said, they're pretty powerful. You better be ready to put your armor on because they're going to knock it off of you. They paid it because it was Blue Cross Blue Shield. It was their responsibility. What if I would have gotten a neck? I've already got degenerative disc. What if I'd had a bad neck injury, and it could have happened? And if I'd have looked up, it would have broke my nose. I'm sure of it. And just wham, it came loose and come down. Yeah, that's true. And there my boss, 45 minutes of me sitting there like a dummy. We got up and we went to the emergency room, which was it was emergency facility, which was only a couple blocks up the road. I'd hate to have my throat cut waiting on her. You know what I mean? She should have said, go now. Everybody's always afraid they're going to have to pay for something, which is wrong. You know what I mean? I fell out in my carport a couple years ago and broke 3 ribs. Boy, Lucky Ducky said that hurts. Ooh, poor thing. Better for us sit down. Luckiest from head to neck to your spine. Oh, yeah. Me sitting there for 45 minutes, I thought, forget it. I said, I'm getting x-rayed from the bottom to the top. And it was their, it wasn't like I planned for that to hit me in the head or arranged it. It was their responsibility before being, children stuck under those before being crushed. Oh my goodness. I've seen my mom fall 3 times, so I walk like it's ice all the time. How old is your mom, Laura? Oh, yeah, that really. Yes, she should have. Do you know you be checked immediately? Oh, yeah. Talk about stupid. What she call the boss and say, oh, my God, somebody got hurt. Blah, blah, blah. She's in her 80s. But, yeah, those falls are, a lot of times when you're older, you break a hip, and it's just really, I'm sure all the breaks hurt. I only hurt no broken ribs. And the worst thing about this was trying to, oh, yes, where it expands like that and pushes against that. So, and then I'd worked in other scenarios that this lady, she had nieces and stuff, and one of them was a thief, and she would pack stuff out and stuff like that. It was awful. I had to be continuously on guard for that. And they know when I was there, I didn't play. Don't be taking people's stuff, because I won't put up with it. I'll call, I have the authority to call some people to take care of that. Now, my mom fell at Taco Bell and broke her ribs a long time ago. Oh, yeah, you can then if you're falling and you try to break your fall, that can be even worse, I've feet flew out from under me before. But, yeah, those falls are scary, especially when you don't know how you're going to land and what's going to be affected by it afterwards. It really is. But would never put her hands out. Oh, in her face. My goodness. I had a friend that broke her hip and didn't get checked. Oh, I bet she's having trouble walking. Yeah, you got to put your hands out. That breaks your fall, you know. And then they get that age and, they don't want any help, or they feel like that someone helping them is like saying they can't do nothing when that's not it. When young, we just laughed it off. Now, yeah, we're careful now because we're getting a body's getting older. It really is. And yeah, our bones get a little more brittle, and they sure do. Next thing you look up, yeah, I've seen many nurses steal from. Oh, yes, that's another thing. It's not when someone trusts you to come in to take care of their loved one, they don't mean take care of their taking their stuff. Oh, yeah, that is, and it's not just nurses; it's caregivers and stuff. You get some caregivers would sleep and just. I know this one caregiver was with this guy, and he had a lot of health problems, and he said that girl comes and sleeps. I said, don't let her get away with it. I said, what if something caught on fire? What are you going to do? Slap her and wake her up? That's her job. She's supposed to be taking care of you. But if you're on pain medicine, it makes you sleepy. Don't be working because you're in charge of this person, and don't be sleepy. That's not good. Oh my goodness. I bet. Falling down the stairs, and I just remember being on the floor screaming. I bet. Ouch. That does hurt. Yeah, a lot of them. When you get older, it happens to all of us. Well, it you want to protect your face and your head, or try to. But yeah, you don't want your head hit. That can cause problems. Hey, Marzita, welcome in. We're talking about falls and broken bones and storms and you name it. I think we've covered quite a bit. Yeah, you get older and things are not as spry as they used to be. You just gotta watch your p's and q's. That's for sure. Thank goodness I haven't fallen down my basement steps. Not yet. Knock on wood. But sometimes we just need somebody to talk to, don't we? Those still for patients. Oh yeah, they will. I was had a client that had a sister that was in the dementia ward, and they would take each other's stuff. They get up in the middle of the night, but that's just what they do. And one lady, she was put in there, and nobody ever came to see her, and she it was really sad. That's why when the lady's nephew came in, he always would give her a hug because they just put her in there and that was it. Nobody'd come and see her or nothing. So sad to be put in a place like that and just forgotten and dropped out and mm-mm-mm. Yeah, a lot of your dementia patients, they'll get up and do things, and they may not remember what they did, but they would have an item that belonged to somebody else. And you know I remember a lot of times the lady that had the sister with dementia would spend the night with her, and because her sister would get up and wander out, she put a like a little silk cord on her wrist and her sister's ankle because she didn't want her getting up and wandering off. I think they put some bells on the door as well. What do you do for a living, if I may ask you that? Well, I used to work in home health care. I did. I also worked for a vending company. But yeah, that was the last thing I did. I worked for a home health care company and I was there for 9 years and but you know what? A lot of these people, they need somebody because when their family comes in, they either want something or they steal something. Or, like they say, if you want to buy love, go to the pet store because you're not going to, they're taking something. Now, buddy, I would watch my clients, and if I seen something off, I would look a little bit deeper because, we're their advocate as well in case something would go wrong. And boy, I took my job very seriously. I had two girls. I worked Christmas one time, and two sisters got into a fist fight in the kitchen, and here I am in the middle of it. And I said, you need to take that outside. You can pull each other's hair or knock each other out, but you're not doing it in here. Get out. One threw a shoe at the other one, and then they was never seen the beat. I said, y'all can go outside and do your match. You're not doing it in here. I specialize in Alzheimer's and dementia care. Yeah. And a lot of times people with Alzheimer's and dementia, they're almost childlike because a lot of times their mind is going back to that point in time where they were a child, and it can be that way. I worked in nursing homes when I was 20, so I know all about it. I felt so bad for the ones whose families just dump. Yeah, and they do dump them off. And here's what they do. They dump them off, and then they go through their home and take what's not nailed down. I know my very first client, she had a stroke, and her boys went into her house, took all of her jewelry and anything that was worthwhile, and they sold it. Here she's in the hospital. She comes back home, all of her stuff's gone. And I said, they thought you were going to pass away, didn't they? And she goes, yeah. I said, I guess you fooled them. They sold her jewelry and all kinds of stuff, and the woman was in the hospital. I'm like, wow, that's really something. In a case like that, you lock the door, you leave people's stuff alone. I was there when this woman passed. I came in it was on St. Patrick's Day, and I scheduled myself to work that day, and it was so weird. It was like she always got up about 2:30 in the morning, and she would unlock her door for me because she knew I was coming in there at 9. And the door was unlocked. I could hear the TV. Usually I would hear her giggling. I thought, well, she's asleep. I'm going to let her sleep. And some time went past, and I went in there, and she had a hospital bed, and she was sitting in a sitting position, and I couldn't really see. So I turned the light on, and I knew she was gone. I walked over, I touched her ankle. I immediately picked her phone up and called 911. But what was so weird, they said that she was in her bed. They said the time that she passed away was about 2 or 3 in the morning. Did she open the door, go back in, get back in the bed? I don't know, but she had another stroke and she passed, and I had to call I had so much fun visiting with the residents. They never did it again, though. It is fun because a lot of the residents don't have anybody. They get dumped out there. People don't care. They're so enthralled with their own life and forget about this person that raised you, changed your diapers, fed you, took care of you all your life, and that's what they do. So I'm not saying all of them, but some of them. Don't just take a human being and dump them into. That's a human. That person gave birth to you. That person took care of you. And people do that these days. And you know what's so funny? Something awesome to do is to go up to the dollar store and get like 20 small gifts. Then at Christmas time, go visit seniors in homes that have no one and give them a gift as well as a gift of your. Yes. You know what? The gift of your time means so much to that person. It's like you took the time to see that person and you care. It really does. Right. Brian, you're a good soul. I always knew you were. I always knew you were. And it really is. And they're so happy to see you. And you kind of have to wipe a tear or two because they're so happy that you're there and that somebody actually cares. Insightful. Yeah. Was the most insightful person. Yeah. If you ever want to learn anything, just be around these older people because they've been there, they've done that. That's what I've always done. I've always been around older people. That's where that knowledge comes from. And it's just fun to listen, see their eyes light up. It's so awesome. Yeah. Oh, trust me, the family brings a tool set to take what's nailed down. Oh, my goodness. I know they'll come in there and you've got to, sometimes it's really sad. It's a happy occasion when you go in there, but it's also sad and you just see so many people and oh, you kind of get teary-eyed. Yes. And we all should do that. That's the way with me. If you see somebody struggling and you can do something for them, do it. They may have nobody or they may have a family that don't care. You have to reach out there and people appreciate it. I've had patients in rehab that would go home and the family members while visiting did was talk about who's going. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, you might have, in some cases, you might have a lot of siblings, one doing the work, but you let that person pass away and they'll be camped out on the doorstep. You can bet that. They think somebody owes them something and nobody owes nobody nothing. That stuff was worked for. And they're like a ghost when they're living, but where are they? Where are they? Why are they not coming in there and helping? You know, you let them die, pass away, and boom, they're right there. It's for what people can get. It wasn't about that person's life and what they may have did for others. It's about what they have, their possessions. It's it really is. It's really sad. Some people, yeah. I knew Brian was a sweetheart. Right. And those moments are so special that we don't know what's going to happen to people. We don't know when. But you know what? If that person leaves this earth and you have helped them and you've taken care of them, then they will leave the earth knowing that. And then you feel good because you know that you helped. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Be, you know, make that last memory of your loved one a good one. You know, give them a hug. Tell them you love them. That's another thing. I believe in telling people you love them because tomorrow's not promised and you don't want any regrets because we're not promised but one day at a time. We don't know. They would love nothing more than to just sit and talk with you for an hour and make you, oh, yeah. Yeah. And she appreciates you, Brian. She really does. And I have a feeling that the two of you may be closer than the other siblings, possibly. That's that's the vibe that I'm getting. Nothing more. Oh yeah. The older people, they like to tell things about their life and vice versa. They really love that. I knew it. I knew that you two were close. I could feel it. You're like that lady's spooky, but I could feel that. I know that. Yeah. And you know that if something happens to her, God forbid, you will have those memories to look back on and think how wonderful was it to be able to spend that time with my mom. Yes, I've been around older people since I was 15. Yes, I've always been around. Yeah. So you were still in high school when you started out on that. Yes, moms are precious, nephew Troy. They really are. You only get one of them. And, mine passed away when I was 2 months old. I never knew her, and there's a lot of drama behind that. But I like to think that I have some of her traits. I really do. You get a mixture of traits from both parents. But yeah, there's a soap opera behind that. Trust me. I should write a book, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Right. Everybody does need somebody special. And sometimes just to look at people, you never know what they may have been through. You just don't know. Things affect people differently. People handle things, differently. It's just, yeah, need somebody. Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I had an awesome mom for 43 amazing years. Yeah, never judge people because a person may look one way on the outside, but you don't know what they've been through. And boy, can I tell you some stories about me. But yeah, you cannot judge a book by its cover because unless you've opened that book and looked through the pages, you don't know anything about that. You have to look, and there's not one person out there better than the other. However, some people do think they are superior and treat people as such. Never read my mind. Uh-oh, now that leaves that open for interpretation. But I could tell that Brian was close to his mom. I could just feel it. I know. I don't know. Deb, I've learned a lot of things over the years that, you can't change it. You have to look at it for what it is. A lot of people go through this life they're miserable because they're constantly trying to change things they can't. But yeah, yeah, one of those dress up divas, Deb. That's for sure. Well, shoot, I just put it on and roll with it. Oh, we love you too, Lucky Ducky. You're just so sweet. And even the people that, for instance, Brian, that does a lot for his mom, with his mom having dementia, I'm sure in a way it's kind of heartbreaking because he sees it, but he needs somebody to talk to as well. He remembers his mother as this person, and then they slowly change into this other where they can't remember, and that is hard on a child. I don't care if you're how old you are, to see that and know it, and you have to go in there knowing that this is going on with a straight face and not be emotional about it. You know, you really do. I think that's what really bothers a lot of people, that their parent has this dementia, because they remember the person they were, but they're seeing someone they're not, you know, and it does bother you, and you do need someone to talk about it with. It's not easy, you know, but I think that's the older generation's worst nightmare, is to get that, to have that, but we never know what, you know. Now there's another sweetheart, Joanne. She is so sweet. Oh. But see, everyone needs to has feelings, and everyone sometimes needs to air that. And if a subject comes up, I just felt so led. Of course, I had a package. Whoops. I had a package, but I was on my way home and I just thought, I'm going to bring up the subject of guardian angels. I don't know where it came from. You're welcome, Joanne. But I just wanted to bring that up because, maybe someone needed to hear that. We don't know. We have to, I don't know the things that pop into my mind, but I felt so compelled to do that. Don't know why. So here I am. But yeah, we're all part of this world, and we all have feelings. We all need to talk. I think it was too. I really do, Brian. I really do. But it just came to my, and I just felt, I think it was a God thing. What I really do. I really think it was a God thing. God knows that we each individually have talents, and He knows who may be the most connected to people and may be the most, can put that out there. But, right, that's right. I did. I mean, something said, it just kept running through my mind about that. But it was. And, we never know who we may have enlightened with this conversation right to here today. And hey, it's all good. Enlightenment is a good thing. We just have to, you know. And sometimes we hear that small voice in our heads, and yes, right. That we need to do something to uplift someone else. Be the change, right? Be the change. You have to sometimes we're led in certain directions for a reason. I believe that. And a lot of times we need to hear things and know that somebody really cares. There's so many people that don't. But I should have a show geared toward talking. I should have an extra channel geared toward that. Mom did make it through the surgery. Good. Good, Brian. Good. See, prayer works. Right there. See that down there? She made it through. Sometimes, guys and gals, it's a little touchy when they're older and they use that anesthetic now. It really is, because you have to really be. Well, I am so happy, Brian, that she's met. Now the healing part has to take place. That's good. Yay. Touchy. I bet it was. A lot of times when you're older and you go into surgery and you get the anesthetic, it is touchy. It really is. You have to really be careful with that. Yes, oh, yeah. So, if I did such a thing, what should it be called? I'm polling everyone out there. What if I had if a title could be used for this? Which title would it be? What do you think? To do that, yeah, Brian, because there's a. You'd be surprised the people. There you go, Laura. Gina does talk a lot. Good one, Laura. That's a good one. I mean, I think that I do have something to contribute. Gina's chit chat. Yep, that's another good one. Gina chats, Gina talks, Gina chit chat. Yep, that's a good one. But like it says in the Bible, when three or more are gathered in His name, He's there too, and I agree with that. Yeah, which one? Which one? Well, it seems like people like are kind of liking that, to where you could be able to talk, and so a lot of people have something valuable to say. People have life experiences that. All right, people come in out of curiosity. What's she doing now? But it's really good if you have something to contribute, do it, because you never know what difference that may make in somebody's life. You know what? A person, Gina, and friends, that's good too, Brian. We don't know what people's going through, and we may touch on a topic that might be exactly what another person's going through. We never know. We just never know. But yeah, that's a good one, Brian. But Brian, I'm so glad that your mom made it through that surgery. That's so wonderful. Yeah, you don't know what. Maybe somebody out there is going through the same thing that you are, and they feel like they just they just need to talk about it and have help to cope with it. Because man, it's the wild west out there. you know, I also think God does put people together for a reason. It's not coincidence. I really think there's a lot more to it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just felt like that, there was such a response to the talking that, maybe that would be a thing. Like I said, that guardian angel or God said, get on there and talk about that because as you can see, there's a lot of people that need prayers in there. You really do. Right. He does, whether we know it or not. When one door closes and one always opens, you just have to, you know, to me, faith is having hope of the future and the things we have not seen yet. That would be my description of faith. Thank you, Laura. You just have to have, there are people out there that the worst thing you can do is keep it inside. That will eat you alive. If you bring things to the surface, then it's helpful. It's when you keep those things down is when you get in trouble. It causes a lot of bad things. You have anxiety, and anxiety is a bad thing. My father-in-law, when he was living, he went to the doctor, and doctor said, he goes, "Do you have any anxiety?" And he goes, "Man, if you don't have anxiety in these days, you're dead." You know, they always look for that, ask that question, but he was something else. He he liked to got wound up on people getting plea bargains when they kill people and crooked attorneys, and he said there shouldn't be no plea bargain, and you did it, you're guilty. You have to take the punishment. Yeah. Back in the day, in biblical times, they would stone you to death. Then it went from that to the electric chair. Then it went to lethal injection. And now, I'm not a mean person, but if somebody does some heinous crime, you know, if they brought back things like in the olden days, there'd be a whole lot less crime because they'd be scared straight, right? They would be scared straight, you know. But yeah, you guys, it's been good talking to you. My stomach says it's dinner time. Hangings, yeah, they would hang a person, and that was no joke. So I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you so much for coming in. You are indeed a blessing, each and every one of you. Laura, stay safe. We'll be checking on you, girl. Everyone stay safe. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to go down and have some dinner. I will talk to you guys later, and we will consider some of those titles because they're really good. So I'll see you guys later. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Love you guys. You're welcome. Love you, Joanne. You're a sweetheart. Bye-bye. We'll be checking Laura and Joanne. So we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.